trying to create that arrangement that will help you to do that. So, that's the introduction. So I'm very grateful to be here. It's a pleasure to be among such nice devotees and such a good hospitality and excellent prasadam. So thank you, Damodar Prasadam Prabhu, for bringing me here, and thank you for receiving us and hosting us. And my mission today is to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And actually, it's verse 25. And this section is a very interesting section because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving explanations about the Atmaram verse. Okay? So the verse today is verse number 25. Is that it? The one up there? Kurvanti pada e parasmai pada hai Krishna Shukha nimitta bhajane tat paraya kahaya. Is that right? Is that what's written? Okay. Karvanti pada e parasmai pada. How did that go, Damodar? Help me out. Is this from the Sri Srimad Bhagavatam? Yes, I think it is. Yes. Kurvanti padai paramas padahaya Krishna Shukha nimitta bhajane tarparya. No, it's not that metric. Who can read that verse nicely? I'm having trouble. I need help from my audience. You got it? You want to go? You want to go? Go for it. Okay, so we do word by word. I promise I'll improve my pronunciation skills. Kurvanti pada, you want to repeat? Kurvanti pada. The word kurvanti. This. Parasmai pada, a verb form indicating things done for others. Hai is Krishna Shukha nimitta, to satisfy Krishna. Bhajane, in devotional service. Tat paraya, the purport. Kahaya is said. So the translation goes like this. Remember, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining different meanings of the Atmaram verse by taking each word. The word kurvanti means they do something for others. Since it is a form of the verb to do, indicating things done for others, it is used in connection with devotional service, which must be executed for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is the purpose of the word kurvanti. Shall we repeat? The word kurvanti. Yes, let's repeat together. The word kurvanti means they do something for others. Since it is a form of the verb to do, indicating things done for others. It is used in connection with devotional service, which must be executed for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is the purport of the word kurvanti. And there's a purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Sanskrit, the verb to do, has two forms. Technically called parasmai, pada, and atmane pada. When things are done for one's personal satisfaction, this form is called atmane pada. In that case, the word do in English is kurvate in Sanskrit. When things are done for others, the verb form changes to kurvanti. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Sanatana Goswami that in the Atmaram verse, the verb kurvanti means that things should be done only for the satisfaction of Krishna. This is supported by the grammarian Panini. The verb is formed as atmane pada. When the work is done for one's own benefit, and when it is done for others, it's called parasmai pada. Thus, the verb is formed according to whether something is done for one's self-satisfaction or for another's satisfaction. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Shri Shri Gauranitai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ji ki jai. So to get support for the topic, which is called systems of abundance in the Vedic perspective, that's our topic. Since yesterday we have been starting discussing what does it systems of abundance in the Vedic perspective mean. And I take a little help from the previous verse. The previous verse, krama shakto paripatyam kramas chalana kamparyo. It means these are the different meanings of the word krama. It is used in the sense of potency, systematic arrangement, step, moving or trembling. So the word in the previous word is krama, kramaha here, the external potency. And in that little purport that it comes, it's saying that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all pervasive. Not only does He carry the three worlds by His inconceivable energy, but He maintains them also. So that sentence of Srila Prabhupada is very significant for our discussion today. And today there are 3 classes, so you may be invited for different moments. There is a Tamil class, what time? 12:45. And there I'm going to present Dharma and Dharani. Dharma as the bull and Dharani as the cow. And what role do they play in these systems of abundance? And at what time is the other class? At 4 I'm going to present systems of abundance and what is the relation between bhakti, mode of goodness, ecology, and systems of abundance. How is that connected and how can we interact with that? But now, since it's a Chaitanya Charitamrita class, I'm going to offer how is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu connected to ecology? Is he connected to ecology? Is he connected to cow protection? Is he connected to agriculture? Or is he just connected to the holy names? What do you think? Both. She goes for both. What do you think? Both. We have 3 options. Only spirituality, both, or only the material world. Only the material world is out. So both or only spirituality seems to be the dilemma. Is there a dilemma or there is no dilemma? All clear? Yes? So I can test you if it's all clear? So for many years, we have been practicing Bhakti Yoga, confirmed, and it's extremely important because without connection to God, to the source of all the creation. We cannot be happy because that's our connection. Without the source, the part is unhappy. Without the whole body, the stomach is unhappy, or the hand is unhappy. What is the hand without a body? So the whole body, when the connection is made, then there is happiness. And when the part is working for the benefit of the whole, there is happiness. For example, if the hand rebelled, I'm not going to give food for the mouth, I'm going to give food for the head. There's no happiness because the food would be trying to hit your head and you wouldn't be able to digest it and nourish the hand.
Sorry, then what happened with me? Because I'm happy all the time.
You're happy all the time. That's great. Maybe you have hit Paramatma and you don't know.
I don't know. I just see all day, my life is very crazy. It's just Krishna. That's it.
Great.
I don't care about that.
Very good.
Yeah, I have one woman present. I wait for this woman to come the next month. I live with her.
Well, what is your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
But Jayadeva Dasa.
Jayadev is your nickname or initiated name?
Jayadeva Dasa is in Brazil. One monk that come from India. That makes sense.
He gave you that nickname.
He said to me,
Do you know what Jayadev means? Jayadev, usually we have a certain sequence. We have a small presentation and then we have questions and comments. That makes the information flow a little more easier. But I appreciate your explosion of spontaneity. Yes. Okay. So, we are discussing about the hand, the body, and the different parts. So the hand is working for the benefit of the body. And it's working hard. Because if you work in a field, you have to use your hands. If you work in an office, use your hands. Your hand's always working. But it's working for a purpose. The purpose is to nurture the body, or to do something with the body. So, we usually think that we are independent and we can do whatever we want from the whole, but that's just an illusory state. And that illusory state comes from association with the material nature. Because in the material nature, there are different modes. You know, when you go at night in a bar area, you see people seem to be very happy, but they're drinking and their energy is kind of everywhere. So they are not aware that they have entered the mode of ignorance, but they don't know. They seem happy, but they're actually in a very ignorant level. Similarly, people are killing animals all over the planet and thinking they're very happy. They're in a restaurant, you know, and they seem to be happy. They have a nice car, nice house, a nice bank balance. But they don't know karmically they're going to have to be born as that animal to be killed. And that's not so happy. So it's a question of perception and modes. So in the material world, we are always in touch with the material modes. And there's a competition between these three modes. Sometimes one wins, sometimes the other wins. For example, when you're going to sleep, which modes predominates? Ignorance. And it should predominate. Because if it doesn't, you get awake, excited, and you don't rest. So when you rest at night, what you do is the whole body recycles and you have energy to continue your life. And actually today, because of social media, because of so much technology, we are losing our sleep. We tend to be pulled in 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m., 11, 12. And when we get into those realms, our bodily, let's say, organization in terms of chakras and energies get disturbed. So the next day, it's an overburden on the system. And we get overburdened over years, and we get sick. So we get distance from the reset of the body, where the body is fully in balance. in equilibrium. And that's what the yogis would do in the Himalayas. They regulate their lives. What they ate, what time they ate, how much they ate, what quality of food they ate, for what purpose they ate. Everything was regulated, so they had real happiness from inside, because the body was illuminated and they had the right timings. For example, you may be happy to know that Ayurveda says from 2 a.m. in the morning until 6 a.m. in the morning, the mode of goodness predominates. That's why we have the Mangalartik. And then from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m., the mode of ignorance predominates. So when you wake up between 6 and 10, you're more tired. You know why, but you just feel more drowsy and more tired because you get the wave of the mode of ignorance. And from 10 to 2, the mode of passion. 12 o'clock, everybody's hungry. Everybody wants to go home. All of a sudden, what's that? It's the peak of the mode of passion. Your acids in your stomach are saying, time to digest food. So there's so many acids, you feel a little urge to eat. People in the traffic are a little nervous. They're nervous because everything is culminating to that moment of passion. And then again at 2, if you notice, there's a certain calmness, and it follows until 6. And 6 p.m., it's ignorance. That's the happy hour, when people stop in a bar and start to drink. Have you noticed? It just follows the schedule of the energy. So we have been captured by these energies, and one is always predominating. Now, when passion and ignorance predominates, we kind of become a little bit slavened by energies and systems. And when we go to the mode of goodness, we start to have a little more enlightenment. Because we know what I should do, at what time, and what I should eat, what kind of food I should eat, what kind of donation I should give, what kind of relationships I should have. So when all that is in place, a certain happiness sprouts because of the mode of goodness. That's why in Switzerland you find so many people stable, because they're regulated. You see so many of these things on a material level still present in their culture, still present. But of course, there's other ignorance factors which enter. And that's when the goodness is not pure goodness, it's just goodness. Okay? So, in the Tamil class, I'll try to explain how we transition from the vision from bhakti to the mode of goodness. Why are they important? And then I go to the other part, which is how that relates to ecology, which in India there's usually not a connection made, especially today, in the modern days. You see that for an Indian person, when they're walking on the streets, they eat something, they drop on the ground. Right? It's kind of current. And then you say, but why would you drop on the ground? And I lived in India for 12 years. It's because previously, everything in India was made of recyclable materials. Leaves, wood, cloth. So they'll throw on the side and it'll decompose. That's no problem. But when plastic was introduced, they continued the same practice, and it just pollutes the whole place. The rivers, the villages, everything gets very polluted. So in Indian tradition, the connection between mode of goodness and ecology was made a long time ago, but that's being disconnected. That's why you have such a polluted environment in many places. And it's waking up. India is waking up for that. And then finally, you're in the mode of goodness, but where's your food coming from? How is that affecting your planet? Is your system of economy sustainable? Yesterday we were discussing in, what's the name of that temple? Langtal? Yes. We are all standing on one thin leg. And it took time for them to understand it was fossil fuels. If you stop that, you cannot go home. If I take the fossil fuels from your car, you cannot go home. Or maybe you can walk in distance, but it will be for me it will be very difficult to go home to Brazil without fossil fuels. So we're all standing, and we're all standing on one leg. If that stops, the whole planet today, as we know, stops. And we're not thinking conscientiously about this. We're just thinking, yes, it will last forever. It's utopian, maybe not happen. But the possibility is right there, and so many signals are being sent. And we'll discuss this a bit more. We go back to the verse of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, where in the previous verse the word Kramaha is saying that all the potencies of Krishna maintain this world. They create and they maintain. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood this verse as Krishna is self-sufficient. He is Atmaram. He is enough with himself. And his energies are maintaining the whole world. And by maintaining the whole world, they give you a blueprint how it should work. So we have tried to cheat Mother Nature by saying, I have fossil fuels, I can grow whatever I want, I can eat avocados from, I don't know where, Mexico, here, I can take flowers from Africa, I can take coffee from Brazil. You know, so this idea comes only because we are trying to cheat with fossil fuels. We can plant wherever I want, whenever I want, but then there are problems. Global warming. Then there's war. Then there is conflict. And the cost of living goes up. You have to work very hard to maintain yourselves. So all of these are consequences of this philosophy that I can sort everything out by cheating nature with fossil fuels. So a very important understanding is that Krishna is maintaining the whole universe, and he's giving us the chance to be in the mode of goodness and to maintain the planet and be self-sufficient ourselves. Why is he doing that? Because, just see, the sun came up today, right? And when the sun came up, this miracle happened called photosynthesis. You know that, right? Photosynthesis? The sun energy transforms into life, and it's happening all around you. And that's the potency of Krishna. Every day, same time, that potency is coming. And from it, your fruit trees are making fruits, your cereal crops are making crops, your vegetable leaves are producing vegetables and flowers, and the bees are doing honey. Everything is working perfectly. But humanity, for some 2 centuries, started to think, no, we can control. For example, where I live, we produce a lot of mangoes. Do you like mangoes? Mango lassi? So from Brazil, many times it comes, these fruits. So to produce mangoes, to have mangoes every month, you have to introduce a chemical called kutar, which is basically a flower-inducing hormone. You put it in the plant and it flowers. So I can give you fruits January, February, March, April, June, January. Right? So I think I can control nature because Europe has a good price, and I want to send my fruit to Europe. I want to give fruit to Europe in April. But the season of mangoes is January or July. But I want to change. So the farmers are all busy pruning, cutting, spraying, okay? And they get money sometimes. Money is very good and it comes, big money. But then next time, 20 cents per kg, and they can't even harvest the mangoes. Confirmed. So they have trouble because they're trying to go against the laws of nature. And we are trying to go against the laws of nature. Mangoes belong there. If I want to eat mangoes, I take a bullock cart, I travel many kilometers, And I reached there, said, all right, now I'm going to taste mangoes in this place. But we have developed a concept. I can travel anywhere, I can eat anything, I can do anything because I have power. How? I have money, and money buys tickets, and tickets depend on fossil fuels, and I'm free. So I'm trying to cheat the arrangements of nature and enjoy. But what is the cost of the enjoyment? We are going against the energies of Krishna. There'll be time for expression. Okay. So we were discussing about what were we discussing about? Yes. Yes. Okay, so that's one point. Very good. Thank you for bringing me to the loop. And the other point is, Prabhupada was stressing you should depend on local produce. You should grow your own food, have your own cotton, have your own education, have your own communities. Why did he say that? I'm going to make a little survey in the room, starting at the back. Why did Prabhupada, what is your name, Prabhu? Sarvatma Narayana Prabhu. Prabhu, Sarvatma Narayana. Why did Prabhupada emphasize this idea? We should produce our food, produce our cotton. Okay, it creates harmony. Excellent point. Excellent point. You get closer to God because you see God in nature and you're serving Him through nature and taking the fruits and offering to Him, making a connection. Excellent point. Yes. Another point, let's take from, what's your name? Edgar. Edgar.
For example, your family can be independent from shops and produce your own, and it's always better quality for family. It's more
Excellent example. It's always better quality. It's no poison, no hormones to look nice and beautiful. And also, when you say better quality, sometimes you buy on the market a nice, beautiful fruit, but inside you don't have the nutrition you need to nurture your body. There is copper missing. There's molybdenum missing. There's so many important zinc sometimes is missing. And when you eat, you think, yes, I ate. But all the nutrition of the body is not taking place. That's called hidden hunger. And Prabhupada understood that. He said, you should produce to offer good food. And also, when they're contaminated with poison, it creates so much disturbance. And we discuss about this, so I won't discuss too much. And you know this a lot about this too. So that's very two good arguments. Now there's one third strong argument which Ukraine could really make the link. Yes.
But I was thinking of this that you were mentioning it's not sustainable, the way you're consuming, and to become sustainable actually means to come to the middle course, and without being there, it's actually possible.
Very good point. And Prabhupada wanted you and all of us to be able to do it continuously. So if there's a food shortage, If the government goes crazy, if there's war, you can still continue to practice bhakti. So when I spoke with Prema Rasa about this new Mayapur, he said, we have food here. We have stock of grains and so many things. So he could wait for the external help coming from many parts, giving money to help all the refugees in the farm. Right? So it creates independence. Self-sufficient creates independence. Like the verb is saying Krishna is independent because it's Atmaram. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is proving the point that he is Atmaram. He creates this world, and this world takes care of this world. He's on another layer. He's not personally having to go to the computer. Let's set up the sun tonight or today. The sun comes automatically. Krishna is independent. And this verse today says that we must do things for him. Kurvanti. Not for ourselves, but for him. Why? Because when you do something for yourself, you get entangled by the material laws of nature. We talked about the three modes. And when you do something for him, you get liberated. And the example given is if you work in a company, and the company says, please go and visit this village. I want to see their market. You take the company's car and you drive. Who pays the car and the petrol? The company. You don't have to pay. So like that, when you serve Krishna, Krishna pays. It's, okay, you're on my payroll now. I take care of you. So no karma. So this verse is pointing out when we do everything for the pleasure of Krishna, then we have no karma. It's the akarma situation. And that akarma situation has many layers. The body, the mind, and the intelligence. And finally the soul. So when the soul reveals or uncovers its natural love for Krishna, and the mind, the intelligence, the body is purified, then you experience pure service for Krishna, without any filters. Just like light. If I put a yellow paper in front of the light, it comes yellow, or blue, or red. So the modes are like filters, and the light of our love doesn't come pure, because there are filters. As you remove the filters, the light comes pure. Prabhupada says, devotional service like gold. It's always pure. Gold is always pure. But it can be mixed with clay and mud and dirt. So it appears to be not gold, but when you wash it, the gold comes. So that's how any service you do is pure. There's a very classic example. Prabhupada is in New York, in a small shop called Much Less Gifts. And a drunk man comes, and he stops the lecture. And Prabhupada looks, and the devotees are a little angry with the drunk man. Why is he disturbing? And he says, no toilet paper. I brought toilet paper. So Prabhupada says, see, everybody wants to do service. And he allowed him to come, put the toilet paper in the bathroom. So this nature of offering service is our natural state of existence. We all want to do service. But when you have filters, you want to serve a nation, your child, your boss, your company, somebody. But when you remove the filters, you want to serve Krishna, even if you're taking care of a child, if you're taking care of a job, but you're not doing for yourself, you're doing for Krishna. That is the purport of this verse today. Kurvanti, he is Atmaram because everybody has to do actions for him without motivation, without interruption. That's pure devotional service. So when we find in our hearts that consciousness that I'm working for Krishna, not because I need anything, but because I want to please him, you have reached the realms of pure devotional service. Like the gopis, they were so concerned. Krishna's going to go out. to Govardhan. He doesn't have shoes. And Govardhan has many thorns and rocks. I started a farm in Brazil at 51 to prove the point that it's possible. Someone can do it. If I can do it in a semi-arid region, there are many cactus and thorny plants. So when I walk, my shoes become full of thorns. And I'm thinking, Govardhan has many thorns. And Krishna is going out. And the gopis are thinking, Krishna, your lotus feet is so soft. You're going to get hurt. We're so disturbed by this thought of you going to Govardhan because your lotus feet will become hurt. So that's pure devotional service. They're thinking of Krishna's pleasure, not of their pleasure. And in that purified state of existence, then there's no suffering, because suffering is a detail. If you're in heaven, in hell, wherever you are, you're serving Krishna. That's why the Vaishnava says, I don't mind being anywhere as long as I'm a servant of Krishna and his devotees. So that's a very important point we should bear in mind. It's not that becoming a pure devotee, I'm not a mother or a father or a worker or a person in the world. It's everything I do in the world is for the pleasure of Krishna. Therefore, if it's for Krishna, the food should be pure. Because it's for Krishna. How am I going to offer a flower which possibly has poison in it to Krishna? I want to give the best to Krishna. And there's bigger discussion. How am I going to offer milk to Krishna, which the cow has to be killed and suffer so much? And then you start to think, oh, we have to be practical, but we have to be thoughtful. So the combination of practical and thoughtful leads to improvement and perfection. Because if you're romantic and thoughtful, you just get ideas and discussions and you end up doing nothing. If you're practical without being thoughtful, you just remain the same. But the combination of the two gives you vision and you improve on the mode of goodness until you get to the perfection. So say, okay, I can make the yogurt today, ourselves. And next you say, but the milk from this yogurt is going to come from our cows. And then you go step by step until you reach the prayojana. And the pleasure of the Lord is great with that. And my purpose in this visit is that when you come to the temple, you could bring a bunch of flowers. Jagannath, I grew this for you. And you offer to the pujari and he will offer. Oh, I have these cherries or berries or apples or pears I grew in my garden. Krishna, take it. You feel immense pleasure in your heart because you see, I took care of this plant. Nature works. It gave these fruits and I offer it to the Lord. That's bhakti also. Okay, so I'll end here to allow time for discussions as I promised. And we have a few minutes. About 15 minutes, we can have questions, corrections, different points can be made as you wish. Jaidev, you had a question? Maybe. Okay. Okay. When it.
I want to sing the name of God all the time.
Why do you want to sing the name of God all the time?
Because in the past I used drugs and thinking other things, normal things. Now, my life is just sing the name of God.
So what sages would tell you is that you've been practicing and you've been purifying your heart. So there are different layers. The first level is Shraddha. You believe a little bit. And then you met someone who said, hey, I'm chanting this mantra, it's going to make your life better. Sadhu Sangha. Okay? Then when you have Sadhu Sangha, the next thing is, what are you doing that I can also do? So you start to do what the person does. Start chanting, that's bhajana kriya. Okay? Then when you do bhajana kriya, you do the kriya, the process, then you start to do to anartha nivritti. Thank you. And that's an important point. We've been talking about you clean the anarthas. Okay? And what is an anartha? What is an anartha? It's an unwanted habit. What's artha? Economic development. Anartha means you economically developed without Krishna. So you don't use your energy, your body for Krishna, and it becomes an anartha. Something that is unwanted because it's taking away the drugs. It means you think this body is mine, I can pollute it because it's mine. Who cares? And then when you do that,
I care no more about the drugs, I don't like more.
yeah, I'm saying, but at that time, when you're doing drugs, you're thinking, it's my body, who cares? And then you do it. But the consequence comes later, when the drugs destroy certain neurological connections in the brain, that is hard to become still or hard to concentrate, because that's what they do.
But that is most.
Yeah. So see, that's the consequence. So,
Is
but by purifying the anartha nivritti, if you continue that anartha nivritti, you come to the next stage, which is nishta. And what is nishta? Stability. Stability. You're very stable in that, you know. And that's why I chose Switzerland for this project, because they already have some kind of nishta in ecology and environment. Now the next thing is ruchi. You have a taste. If someone says, hey, you want to come for a holiday in the south of France? And they say, why will I go to the south of France? I'll stay here chanting the holy names. So you have some ruchi for the chanting. But if someone says, what if we did a Harinam in ruchi for the visitor? Oh, then I'm in. I want to go. So the person already has some ruchi, right? And then from ruchi, that's taste for the holy names, taste for the deities, taste for the Shastra. You want to read the books again and again and again. Then comes a Shakti, an attachment. Oh my God, if I stop reading, if I stop associating with devotees, with the holy names, my life is destroyed. I can't do that. So there's some attachment there. And that's when the flower of love of God is starting to come. Because from Ashakti comes Bhava. Bhava is the opening of the flower. Okay? So the love of God is just blossoming on your heart. But at this stage, still possible to get confused and go down. But then when the flower fully opens, that's prema, which in Russian can mean go straight ahead. Prema. Like prema. You go ahead. So in Russia, people saying, where is the temple? Prema. Yes, let's go to Prema. Prema we want. We want to get Prema. So, Prema is when the full flower is open and your relationship with Krishna is complete and absolutely established. And in that moment, you only see Krishna in the world. You don't see the world, you see Krishna everywhere. Even if something is disfavorable, like Jaydev was mentioning drugs, you see Krishna is the potency in the drug. There's one example. One man was addicted to wine, and he met Srila Prabhupada. And the man challenged Prabhupada, so, is your God in this wine? And Prabhupada says, yes, he is. He's the taste of water. So the taste of water is present in wine. If you, every day before you drink, chant Hare Krishna, yoga will happen to you. And this person became a devotee. It was in Canada. Before he drank his alcohol, he'd say, Hare Krishna, Krishna, and he started, and then he got addicted to chanting Hare Krishna before he drank, and it purified him. Yes, he could get it, he could become like, his liver could be compromised, but luckily he stopped before that and he became a devotee. So that was That was Nityananda from the altar. It's very rare that the Pujari speaks, but when he speaks, we understand that Nityananda made an intervention, a divine intervention, right? He said, yes. So, we are in a very fortunate position. We are in an embassy of Vaikuntha. Prabhupada opened many embassies of Vaikuntha, where the lordships are being worshipped, where we chant mantras in glorification to the spiritual master, and we are elevating ourselves very quickly. So we should recognize this, and my visit has the purpose to stimulate you to also produce pure flowers for the Lord, pure fruits, pure things for the Lord. Okay? Any more questions? Any more comments? I understand we have until 8:30, is that right? Okay. So we still have, yes.
So you were telling us that we have to be more conscious about the cost of our entertainment. And now I was wondering if, like here, bananas and tomatoes never grow. So actually we could never offer mangoes and bananas to each other. What do you think? Like, should we also, of course, if we grow a little, then there are different things to offer. So we just have to accept whatever.
Yes, your question is very nice. Thank you for that question, because it would mean that, oh, I'll have to stop eating mangoes and bananas? Is that? Can be a big sacrifice. For the Lord, we can offer anything. Kings used to travel to the Himalayas to catch ice to offer cold drinks for the Lords, by horses, protecting that ice as much as they could for the Lordship. But there was a distinction between the Lord and me. Now, another way to look, in Radhadesh, similar climate, there is a fruit called, I don't know the fruit called, po. It's P-A-W, P-A-W. I've never seen it. And it tastes like mango and apple combined. Yes. So he's trying to produce popo, so they don't have to think of mango so much. So that's one way, is substitution for things which are locally good. And also remember that here people used to have a lot of varieties which they forgot. In the past, to get pleasure, they had many varieties, and they forgot that. So discovering those varieties can bring a lot of pleasure for you, offering to the Lord. Yeah? Question at the back.
I have a question related to the modes of nature. So, you mentioned in the dream, like when we are sleeping, we are in the mode of ignorance. But can the dreams be in all the three modes?
Yes. Basically, what happens to you is whatever influence you have just before sleeping, that is the most prominent influence. Sometimes you're talking about a friend, a disaster, and you dream about a disaster, isn't it? So it influences. That's why in the Ayurveda it said that 2 hours before sleep you should not eat, you shouldn't do social media, you shouldn't do computers. You should start turning the body down until it can go into that ignorant state of sleeping, which refreshes, resets, and you wake up in sattva. Understand? So, when you go to bed early, you go to bed in ignorance. You don't get passion. When you go to bed after 10, you go to bed in passion. So your mind is very active. And it's very interesting. Sometimes it's 8, 8:30, 9, and we're just there 9:30, and then you hit the button, and then you 1 p.m., 1 a.m., I'm sorry, many times, because you hit the surfing of passion. Yes, just a second. I'll let you ask. And to prevent that, we need to be very aware of our day shift, what we eat at night, how we eat it, what we speak at night. We should actually start bringing the night to the night, because the society is very influenced by people who are not God conscious, and for them, Bhagavad Gita says, day is night and night is day. They switch. So there's so much things to be done at night because people give you work, chores, things, phone calls, blah, blah, blah. And you get engaged and all of a sudden it's 10, 11 and you don't have such a great sleep. Is that okay? Thank you. Yes, Jaidev.
If you don't eat nothing for many, many days.
That's beneficial. Yogis used to do that with the following reasoning. They started detaching themselves from the idea that they are enjoyers. Krishna is the enjoyer. So I'm going to sit, and if one leaf falls on my mouth, Krishna sends it. If he didn't send anything, so they would...
Send all the time.
Yeah, so if they send, he'll accept, but he's in the mountain, in Himalayas, it's not likely a person's going to come to him and give him something. So he's meditating, and he's trying to focus only on Krishna. So he'll fast. We Vaishnavas only fast usually on prescribed days. Ekadashis, Janmastamis. Because when you fast, you put your body on a big stress. And if it's Krishna's body, why would you put Krishna's body in stress? So we have to give up the idea that I am the owner of this body. It belongs to Krishna. And I have to do things which is good for the body because it belongs to Krishna. Like, for example, makeup is good for Krishna or not? Yes? Yes. From Ukraine it's very good. From India it's also very good. Is it good for Krishna? Makeup? Then you have makeup in the three modes: ignorant, passion, and goodness. You have jewelry like real diamonds and gold and silver, which is very nice. And the dharma of women is to be beautiful. Krishna gave that dharma, and it pacifies the women. So, for the husbands, they need to keep giving presents. And the women feel happy receiving presents, and by putting those ornaments, it enhances the beauty of the whole house. Everything becomes more beautiful. That's their dharma, to beautify, to make dharma shine in a home. That's their dharma. So when that is activated, you activate the superior consciousness, and everybody's trying to serve Krishna in that environment rather than serve themselves and enjoy themselves. But when we try to enjoy the energy, then we get all the complications. We're not satisfied, you're not satisfied, something is wrong, I think we should divorce, we don't match anymore, it's not for us. And then the whole system becomes complicated, like today. So many children with 3, 4, 5 parents, it's hard to know who is my father and who is my mother, so many people in the relationship. So, therefore, for Krishna, he gave jewels from nature. Just by rain, jewels are made in the stones. And then you take it out, a businessman sells, the husband buys, gives to the ladies, they're very happy, the husband is somewhat happy, and the dharma is practiced in the home. Yes? One beautiful, I'll end with this small statement. One beautiful thing about how tradition plays a role. There was a marriage of a very rich couple in India recently. I think he's one of the richest men in Asia, Ambani, yes. And it was all in the social media and everywhere. And one thing which really called my attention is that at one point they were given 2 beautiful white cows as a gift. The most beautiful cows were given to them. And they were sitting and receiving that gift. So the symbology of that is that the cows represent wealth. They're so rich, but still they received cows as a gift. So that's very significant of people who understand how nature is set. On that note, precisely at 8:30 in 3 seconds. We are in Switzerland, and I end my class. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaura Premanande. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. This Prabhupada very Swiss one. Yeah, he's very fast.
So tell us everything. Tell us everything.
Maybe. Нет, нет, надо что-то нет.
I want to I said
Например, Харибол. Он работает или нет? Я не понимаю. Да? Вот это можно. Харе Кришна, Харе Кришна. Подходит тебе. Харе Кришна, Харе Кришна, 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 Харе Харе, Харе Рама, Харе Рама, Рама Рама,
спрашивать, его можно больше включать, или он просто вот такой, какой он есть? Харе Кришна, Харе Кришна. Да. Надо его прям вот так. Вот так прям надо, да. Было бы узнать хорошо, где он.
Там уже все полностью. Самый лучший микрофон,
Вот это?
ну, не знаю, это сильный
Мне понять, что мне со скрипкой, потому что я заношу руки, у меня есть мой микрофон. Если пульта нет, то тогда мне надо ставить сверху. У меня есть мой микрофон. Я к нему шнур. Мне надо пульт. Как у нас. У нас там дома все есть. А тут как бы вот.
Британку забираем?
Да.
Не рискнем, да, тут оставить?
Нет, если кто-то велся, какой-то вообще.
Ну да, тут
Надо гармошку ставить на место. А можно вас попросить гармошку кого-нибудь поставить? Или я сама файлю? А он там что-то делает. Я поставлю.
Сейчас я объясню.
Поздно.
разваливайтесь, пожалуйста, вам еще очень надо.